just being back here, what's it mean to you, and what's this opportunity like for you?
It's been phenomenal. Obviously, we've got a great staff. Coach D does an amazing job here, and Boise's always been a place that my family has loved. And so when we found out we were going to come back, my wife was extremely excited. My son's a little too young to understand. He didn't really remember, even though the first steps were on the blue turf. And my daughter's excited too. They've got some family friends and good connections here. So Boise's a great place to be.
Spencer had said he talked to you about the OC position last year, before Dirk took it. Just kind of why now and as opposed to last year?
Sure, yeah. I mean, last year, interesting situation. I just got on it with Seattle Seahawks and had just really made that move over when I had that conversation with Coach D. And we talked through it, and obviously I had some things to work through as well too, and so just kind of it fit staying over there. And then once we got done with this season over at Seattle, kind of had another conversation, revisited it, and found out that it was gonna work. So it turned into a great situation.
Whether it be the city, the program, like what are the things that stood out to you about bringing your family back here?
I think one of the big things is just the environment here. The culture, the family atmosphere, obviously our players are phenomenal people, not just great football players, but phenomenal, kids. And you could tell the vibe here was really, really good, and talking with, my friends in the profession and different colleagues, and, you get to this point in your career and it's like you're really looking for places where you can enjoy coming into work every single day, enjoy the people that you're around, and have a chance to win a lot of football games. And if you can find that, that's something special.
When you look at, so oftentimes here, I'm trying to think if there has been an instance where this hasn't been the case, but the QB coach has been the OC, and right now you get to just focus on being the QB coach. So how is that different? Is there benefits of it? You don't have to worry about the whole offense. You pour into the QBs. Like, how is that different?
Yeah, definitely. It's an awesome opportunity, honestly. We've got a great offensive staff. Coach Potter, Coach Miller have earned their stripes and are going to do a phenomenal job, and they are continuing to do that daily. And for me to get an opportunity to coach quarterbacks and be able to enjoy the connection with those guys and just focus on a position has been fun. And getting to learn new guys' names and just being a part of that staff. I feel like we've got great cohesion and good communication, and obviously Coach Potter does a really good job of taking thoughts. He's open to ideas. He's super smart himself. Like it's just a good staff to be with.
What excites you about getting the opportunity to have 2 years to develop Maddox Madsen?
Yeah, having Maddox for two years is huge. I had the opportunity to work with Brett Rippon when I first got here and have some years with him, which was amazing. And then stepping back into it here at Boise, having Mad Dog for 2 is exciting. He's obviously a really, really good player. He processes really well. He's very accurate. And his ability to lead, but also retain information from meetings is elite. So having that type of commander at the helm is a lot of fun.
From that first start to the last 7 practices, where have you seen him evolve the most?
Yeah, I mean, you can see his confidence just going up and up. We have seen some really good deep balls. I know he missed a couple of those during the season last year. That was a big area of focus for us moving in. So we've worked on some deep ball throws and kind of having that built into every practice, and it's starting to show up. We've hit some post throws, some go balls. I think he's got a lot more confidence with some of that stuff.
In terms of offensive coordinators, play callers, quarterback coaches, he's had a few since he's been here. So in terms of balancing that part or trying to put your stamp on him, how do you juggle that balance?
It's really just trying to find that connection, find where, what his buttons are a little bit, and just getting to know each other and trust each other. It's all about trust. And I think we've done a good job of establishing that, right off the bat. I think we've got a good connection, and now it's just building off of that.
In the last 2 years, Boise State's fans have seen a lot from him. How high can his potential be?
Yeah, I think he's a very good quarterback. He's very efficient in what he does. We have a very intricate offense that requires the quarterback to make decisions and get us in the right plays, and he has the ability to do that. He's very accurate with it. He can get the ball out quickly. So whether we're in empty, throwing the ball, or whether we're in heavier sets, play action, he's got a good strong arm, and he's accurate with what he does. So he's very efficient.
The last couple of years, he's had competition for that starting spots. Just, I figure he's going to be a starter this year. Just how's he handling that, knowing that he is the guy going forward?
He's done a really good job with it. And one of those examples is like, we talked about early when I got here, even just about as simple as carrying out fakes, after a handoff. And he's really taken any advice, any coaching that we've talked about, and really applied it to practice, and it shows up daily. And that's just one small example, but he's not in coast mode, since there isn't that true battle right now. Now everybody's competing in that room. We've got a good group of guys, and they're all getting after it, and all have talents in their own ways. But for him, it's that daily battle of not getting complacent, and just each day, each morning he gets up, get into that habit of having those championship type mentality.
After you found out
I guess what are you seeing from the rest of the room? Just in case Maddox gets injured, or you guys up by 40.
Yeah.
Who's next up?
Yeah. No, they're doing a really good job. Caleb, our freshman, is really pushing the room, and Max is a phenomenal guy, a leader, and also he operates really well. So getting those guys a lot more reps through spring ball, having summer, and then another fall camp. We feel really good about that room, being able to handle whatever and whoever's in.
After you found out you were coming back, how quickly did you reach out to Maddox and start building that relationship?
As soon as I could, I did. Yeah, as soon as they kind of give me the all right, we're moving on and we're rolling, then it was that conversation that afternoon, and was definitely looking forward to that and building that relationship. And then once I did get here, then reaching out to all the quarterbacks and their parents, and making sure that the parents knew that this was a open book too, as we wanted to have that communication and be on the same page.
So was Maddox one of your first phone calls after you were actually hired for the job then, or?
It was.
What was it? It was the first, or?
It was the first player that I contacted, yes.
What do you remember about that conversation? What was kind of maybe the point of making that contact?
Just excitement, on both ends. Excitement from my end of things, just being back in Boise, being able to connect with him, being able to get ready to work with him, getting to know each other, and find out a little bit more, what makes him tick, find out about his family, just the get to know you type stuff. But in any transition, it's all about getting on the same page and trusting each other. So that was the beginning of it.
You did that with Brett at one point in time. How do you build that? How key is that, not just for a quarterback or your offense, but for an entire football program for that matter?
It's huge. You've got to have that relationship with your starter, but all the guys in the room. But there is that special bond that you have with the starter. But kind of going back to with one of your questions, it's like whether it was Brett or Mad Dog, it's like that they run the show. So you've got to get on that same page and build that relationship as quickly as you can.
I don't know how much you want to or can get into it, but what are the challenges of being only able to recruit on campus for the next 2 years?
I think a lot of schools are doing it anyway. So I know a lot of schools are keeping guys in and sending some different guys out, because there's the piece of it where you're recruiting daily in your own building. With the portal that's happening right now. So I think it's beneficial to have coaches in the building. Always having their kind of hands on guys and being able to connect with those guys. So I don't think it's too much of a big deal. We don't lose one on the road. We still got to add one. So
you have your first scrimmage coming up this weekend. What would make that scrimmage success for your quarterbacks? What would you want to see from them? I
think just good operation. No mental errors. They can go out there and play free and play confident. We will challenge them and have some multiple play calls that will be challenging for them, which is good, and it's part of their process. But I'd just like to be able to see them complete and operate well.
How's Dirk kind of helped with this? I mean, he's still kind of around.
Yeah.
Obviously knows these guys pretty well because he's been in the program for the last few years. But how's he kind of helped, this transition for you?
No, Dirk's been great, and we've communicated, and I've known Dirk, before. We've done some professional development together and stuff in the past, and connections at ASU and some things there too. But no, Dirk's always watching film and giving these guys feedback and just kind of seeing what we're doing and here and there. But he's doing a good job too of being hands off and kind of letting Coach Potter, let Coach Miller do their thing as well. So there's that that fine line, and obviously Coach Cutter's got an immense amount of information and experience. So we want to tap that as utilize that stuff, that knowledge as much as we can.
Couple more. Good.
Unbelievable.